What is up, awesome people? What is up? What is up, awesome people of the internet? Guys, happy Friday. We had a massive day of women's hoops yesterday. Big Ten play, SEC play, ACC play, Big 12 play. Like so many tournament games happened yesterday, and we saw some big games. We saw some surprise victories. We saw some upsets, and we saw some dramatic player performances. Now, in this live stream, I want to quickly go through the notable things that I thought about yesterday. And just share with you all what's been happening with these teams and what's going on, what to expect later today. Okay, so we're gonna try to make this around 20 minutes, a quick 20-minute thing. Also, let me know in the chat, like I guess in the post chat or whatever. Let me know if y'all actually like this style. Because I don't have time to do produced highlights of all the games, I'm just gonna talk through the games. And we're gonna rock out like that. Now let me know what you all think about it. Okay. Now we want to start with the Big Ten because there were some massive games yesterday in the Big Ten. We saw Indiana taking care of business against Oregon. Now this is a team that Indiana does not face very often, right? This is actually the first time that Indiana has actually ever beat Oregon. They've only played 3 times in the past. This is the first time they're actually able to get that dub, and they did it behind the backs of their normal players, like the players who always show up and show out for Indiana. And number one, it always starts with Sydney Parrish. Once again, Sydney Parrish, Chloe Moore McNeil, fire game. Yarden and Garzone, they continue to get dubs for Indiana. And the reason why they easily won, in my opinion, is because Oregon kept turning over the basketball. There were so many times where Oregon was turning over the basketball, missing shots. And you just don't have a chance against Indiana if you can't knock down shots. And you can't keep the ball. And so ultimately, Indiana moves on. They end up facing USC later today. They face them at noon Eastern time. And so we'll ultimately see. I think they're going to lose today at noon against USC. But, shout out to Indiana making it as far as they did. And they'll probably lose today against USC. All right. Moving on, we have Michigan, who took care of business against Washington. Now, remember, guys, Washington is the newbie to the Big Ten, and Michigan got the job done, and ultimately, they do it by committee. The thing I love about Michigan is that, yes, everyone talks about Silas Swords, because Silas Swords is fantastic, but it's not just Silas Swords, guys. They always find a way to win by committee, and that's what they did yesterday. Olivia Olson, 21 points. Sila Swords, 15 points. We had Jordan Hobbs with 11 points. Greta Kampstrader, 7 points. Like, this is a team that they all work together, and it's just good basketball. Ultimately, they get the dub over Washington. This is not a Washington team that was looking to go very far. Of course they wanted to, but like at the same time, this is one of those things where you just kind of gotta get used to the Big Ten, right? This is their first year in the Big Ten, and this is a thing where they have good players. Like Dahlia Daniels is a really good player, right? She can knock down shots. She can make buckets, and yesterday she was on fire for Washington with 22 points. But ultimately, it's not enough to deal with the onslaught of firepower that the starting lineup for Michigan has. And it just so happens that, they're playing some very good defense, in my opinion, against Washington, causing Washington to turn over the ball left and right. And when you're trying to pull off the upset, if you're turning over the basketball and you have the other team scoring points off of that, 17 turnovers for Washington, 24 points off those turnovers for Michigan. That's the ball game. That's how Michigan ends up getting the dub against Washington. Because again, it wasn't like it wasn't like this was the greatest of games for Michigan. They missed a whole bunch of threes. Whole bunch. But it didn't matter because they had defense, they were able to force turnovers, and they were able to have their starting five do what they do, which is score. All right, next up, let's talk about Nebraska versus Illinois. Now, this is a game that went down to the wire. Down to the wire. This was a game that, I wasn't really sure who was going to win because I think of Nebraska and Illinois as very evenly spaced out teams. However, how did Nebraska win? Nebraska won because they had a late game surge. In the fourth quarter, Nebraska, they just started working, right? they just started working. They were able to rally into this win, and they did it by knocking down the three, right? Which was kind of cool. Knocking down the three, and ultimately, getting the job done. They shoot 50% from the three yesterday. 8 of 16. Who's knocking down the three? It's Logan Nisley, right? It's Britt Prince, who showed up and showed out yesterday. Like, fire game for her. And you have some pretty good stops against Illinois, and that's it. Game over. Even though the Fighting Illini have individual players with good games, they just ultimately can't get the dub. Again, the three was a huge deal in this one. Huge deal where if another team is able to knock down 8 of their threes and you're only able to hit 5, they lost by 4. Like it wasn't that big of a dramatic swing, right? But yeah, ultimately, yeah. What was it? Jessica Pierre. She ended up knocking a 3 down to get the Cornhuskers the lead late in the fourth, and then Illinois could not end up making some noise, and then they lose. End of Illinois season. I don't think Illinois is going to make the NCAA tournament. We'll see. I don't think they will, though. But I will say I really enjoy watching Illinois. I thought Illinois had a good season this year, and we'll ultimately see what happens for them next year. Now, let's move on to the surprise of the night, in terms of my opinion. Iowa versus Michigan State. Guys, I was on pins and needles throughout this game. Iowa ends up getting the dub against Michigan State, 74-61. Now, this game was fire. It was absolute fire. And the reason why is because I'm a sucker for underdogs. I'm a sucker for teams and players who are not supposed to do good doing good. And to me, this game, yes, Lucy Olsen, once again, Lucy Olsen does her thing for Iowa, right? Once again, 21 points. Okay, great. Almost a double-double with 9 assists. Okay, Lucy Olsen's great. I'm not going to talk about Lucy Olsen. Okay? Hannah Stokey had foul trouble throughout the whole game, ended up with a double-double. Hannah Stokey's great. I'm not going to talk about Hannah Stokey. I am going to talk about Ava Hayden. Ava Hayden, if y'all don't know, is a freshman for Iowa. Freshman for Iowa. She is one of those players that's just still very, very green, right? 6 foot, 6'4", pretty decent player, right? Can get in there and do something. But like Ava Hayden is she's not a real offensive threat. Not really. She's not. But guys, let me tell you, I was watching this game, and Iowa was kind of in a little bit of trouble. Third quarter, I was in a bit of trouble because one, we saw Michigan State coming in the start of the third quarter. I believe they knocked down 2 straight threes. And Lucy Olsen got her third foul. Hannah Stokey got her third and ultimately fourth foul. And you saw both Hannah and Lucy on the bench for Iowa. And I was like, oh, I think Michigan State is about to hit the nail in the coffin, right? You got your 2 best players on the bench. They're in foul trouble. You know, what in the world is Iowa going to do? Well, what happened was Ava Hayden comes in the game. Jen Jensen, I don't know what she said to Ava Hayden, but Ava had herself a game. In the third quarter, Ava running the floor, booking it, getting the ball, making her layups. Her teammates were finding her 11 points. Yeah, sure. You may think 11 points is not huge, but in that third quarter where it felt like the momentum was about to swing towards Michigan State, Ava comes in the game, plays like a veteran, and I was like, OMG, man. That is how you step up in the tournament. That's how you say, you know what? I have arrived. Yes, I have I only average 4.2 points a game. Yes, I don't play very much. However, my team needs me. Hannah is on the bench. She is in foul trouble. I need to do what I need to do for my team. I need to show up. I need to step up. And that is exactly what Ava did. And the thing I love is like, there was one time where she had just scored, her like she kept scoring anyway. Lots of layups because her teammates were finding her, and she was also running the floor and all that stuff. Iowa goes on a run. Michigan State calls the timeout, and you literally see Ava's walking to the bench. You literally see all of her teammates going crazy, jumping into her, saying, yes, that is how you do it. Like, and Ava turned this game around, in my opinion. Yes, of course. You know, the star is Lucy Olsen. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. She's great. However, the third quarter was, in my opinion, the biggest opportunity to lose this game. Why? Because Jan Jensen got a tech. Jan Jensen was pissed in this game. She was pissed. Jan ended up getting a tech. You know, you had your 2 best players in Lucy and Hannah on the bench. This was Michigan State's opportunity. Unfortunately, they couldn't totally capitalize, and they did not expect Ava to do anything. And, it's one of those things where, Kojo, you're right. You stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. That is a motto that has been a thing that I've been talking about on this channel. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. What that means is, hey, you never know when your time is called. You never know. This is one of those things where you just always have to be ready. Be ready for when your number is called, that you show up. That means that every day in practice, you are rocking out. You are making sure that you are doing the little things necessary. You're spending that extra time in practice. You're spending that extra time rebounding. You're spending that extra time, even though you may not be seeing the fruits of your labor and you getting a lot more minutes. But yesterday, Ava was ready. When you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. She played 12 minutes, went 4 for 4, finished with 11 points, 2 steals. It was her career high, guys. It was her career high. And the reason why I'm focusing on her, because truly, I think she was the game MVP. She was, in my opinion. To me, the game MVP has nothing to do. Well, it has stuff to do with points, but it's not all about points. It's about impact. and helping to turn around a game that looked like it was possibly in Michigan State's control. Because again, Michigan State came out to a hot start in the third quarter. Right? And ultimately we see what happens. So shout out to Ava for a fantastic game. Like, this is exactly what you need to be doing. Night in and night out. Exactly what you need to do. So yeah, that's my little spiel on Ava. I really, that was partially why I even wanted to make this stream, is I really wanted to talk about her, because I just thought she was great. Like, and again, it's not all about the box score. Like, that is one thing that I just I feel like I keep preaching on this channel. A lot of times people just stat watch and they're like, oh, this person had 20 points. Wow, they must have been the MVP and blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot of times people just look at the box score and they're not actually watching the game and actually seeing, like, who was the most impactful player. The most impactful player was Ava, in my opinion, because of the way she rallied Iowa in that third quarter specifically. And then the rest of the team was able to close it out from there. All right, so that is your Hawkeye update for the day. Next up, let's talk about Alabama. Y'all, Alabama gets got, guys. They get got in my opinion, surprise loss. We end up seeing a team that was looking to make some noise in the SEC tournament go out in the second round. And it's one of those things where it's like, whoa. As I always say, anybody can get got. And just because you are the best team, just because you are the better team, just because everybody thinks you're going to win the game, does not mean you always win. I kind of want to make a separate video specifically about Florida and the way they have just turned it on. This is a team that in conference play, they were not very good. Like, the Florida Gators were in 11th place in the SEC. This is a team that lost to Alabama during the regular season by 10 points. This is a team that lost 11 conference games. They only won 5 conference games during the regular season. So you would think, not a good team, right? That's what you would say. Oh, this team is not very good and blah, 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 blah. They just got killed. This is a Florida Gators team. They got killed against Texas in the last game of the regular season. But you have to show up. You got to show up. Laura says, for the record, I agree, no politics. Yeah, why are we talking about politics? Can we not? That is the one thing I steer clear from on this channel. Like, we don't talk politics. We don't. If that's what you want to do, there are a ton of political channels that you can rock with. We not doing that, okay? We're not doing that. No politics chat at all. Okay? Thank you very much. Okay, anyway. So how in the world did this Florida team that is overall not very good record-wise, I mean, sometimes they have some decent games, but like overall, not very good. How in the world did they end up taking down Alabama? That's ranked number 19th in the country. Well, freshmen, guys. The thing I love is that we continue to see freshmen do their thing this year. Lots of freshman names that y'all already know about, but one name that y'all probably do not know about is Liv McGill. Liv McGill is a freshman for the Florida Gators, and y'all, she had herself basically the best game of her career. the best game of her career yesterday against Bama. Because, one, she knocked down 29 points in this game. Did it efficiently. Knocked down the 3. And she was someone who just tried her best to get her teammates the ball. Yes, she did have some bad turnovers in this game. However, when Florida needed buckets, when this team was trying to figure it out, we see Liv McGill step up and knock down stuff. Knock it down. And ultimately was the MVP of this game. And again, I am someone who loves to see players that I wasn't checking for. To be honest with you, Liv McGill was not on my radar at all. She was not at all. But I stood up yesterday and was like, okay, girl. Okay, you better rock out, girl. You better rock out. In the fourth quarter, when the game was on the line, back and forth battle between Bama and the Gators, Liv knocking down shots. 11 points in that fourth quarter to kind of help to seal the deal. This is one of those things where Bama is the better team, right? You literally have Sarah Ashley Barker and Zay Green. That's some huge talent on your team. But unfortunately for Alabama, they just weren't able to finish it out at the end of the game, right? They weren't. They had an opportunity to, right? With 15 seconds left to go, Bama had the ball. They run a play. Diana Collins ends up trying to knock down the 3 ball. 15 seconds left, they were down by 2. Okay? Florida, 63, Bama, 61. 15 seconds left to go. Bama has the basketball. They run a play. Ultimately, we end up seeing Diana Collins end up attempting the 3-point basket with 3 seconds left. Misses the shot. Sarah Ashley Barker gets the ball, tries to get the jumper. No. Miss. Game is over. Actually, I think her shot was blocked. But anyway, game is over. We end up seeing this Bama team that should have won this game lose. And, I'm just like, ugh, that's pretty terrible. That is pretty terrible. But hey, anybody can get got. Shout out to the Florida Gators for doing their thing. Getting the upset against Bama. Y'all know I love some upsets. So, we're going to always talk about the upsets, okay? And also, just so y'all know, I'll go through the games that are happening today, just so y'all are aware of all of them. Okay, next up, I talked about this yesterday in my live stream, and so I'm not going to really talk about it here. Tennessee ended up losing to Vandy. Vandy, it was a sort of three-player effort, getting the job done, taking down Tennessee. This was a game that Tennessee should have won. But again, anybody can get got. If you do not show up to play, just because you're the better team does not mean you're going to win, okay? That is something that I wish everybody would get through their heads. It's not just about the better team, okay? It's not. It's about showing up when the lights are the brightest. It's about showing up and making some stuff happen. Camille Pierre, Michaela Blakes, Ayanna Moore. These players all stepped up and had huge games for Vandy. And ultimately, Talasia Cooper, Samara Spencer, Jewel Spear, not great games at all. And Tennessee end up losing. But this loss, I think, ultimately is good for them. They need to rest up. Because clearly, these players are gassed. Clearly, they just don't have it, right? And they're going to rest up. They're going to make the NCAA tournament. Rest up for that. And then see if they can make some noise in the tournament. All right, we also had Oklahoma, who took down Georgia. Not a surprise, but that was that game. We had Ole Miss, who took down Mississippi State. Y'all, I continue to love watching Ole Miss. They're just, I just love the fact that they are just, they're just fun. Like, pound for pound, talent wise, they're not the best. However, effort wise, they give it all they got. They give it just about all they have, night in and night out. They leave it all on the line, and they're a team that can shut down just about any other team. Right? Defensively, Ole Miss, that's what they do. They play some defense, right? And yesterday, they were knocking down some shots. Kennedy Todd Williams and Madison Scott got the job done for this squad, and ultimately they are continuing their dance. Now, there was one game and one individual performance that I was like, I need to talk about. Not related to it's not related to the SEC or the Big Ten or whatever, but it was a masterful performance by Addy Brown, and I was like, I cannot not talk about Addy Brown. Okay, here's the deal. Yesterday, Iowa State ended up pretty easily, I would say, taking down Arizona State. The final score of that game was 96-88. And in this game, yes, Audie Crooks does her thing again. Doesn't quite get a double-double, but like 20 points, does her thing. The player of the game, the player who was lights out from the three, just making bucket after bucket after bucket, was Addy Brown. Addy Brown, we all know, like when we talk about Iowa State, last year we were talking about the freshmen of Iowa State. This year we're talking about the sophomores of Iowa State. Addy Brown is one of those sophomores, and she was knocking down shot after shot after shot. Finished with 41 points in yesterday's game. Like, this was a offensive slugfest. Defensively, this was not, that crazy of a defensive game. It wasn't. It was a foul fest by Arizona State, but this was not a defensive matchup. This was a offensive matchup where Addy Brown shot after shot after shot after shot. She got fouled so much. Ended up going to the free throw line 11 times, made 10 of her free throws, 41 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 blocks for Addy Brown, making stuff happen. Again, you're playing against Arizona State. It's not like the biggest of competitions, but I just wanted to talk about it because I just thought it was cool. Like, I love the sophomores of Iowa State. I think they're fun. I hope they stay together for the rest of their college career, and you just never know. Whether it's Addy, whether it's Audie, they just make stuff happen, and I think it's fun. So I just wanted to mention it. But I will say this: can we please stop fouling so much in tournament play? Okay, 30 fouls for Arizona State yesterday. 30 fouls, which led to 40 free throws for Iowa State. That's the ball game, right? It's not like Arizona State lost by a lot of points, but they were foul happy in this one. Kept getting Iowa State to the free throw line. 40 free throws attempted for Iowa State. They made 33 of them. That's the difference. That's the difference, y'all. That's the difference. Anyway, I do want to show you all today's schedule and just let y'all know what to expect today as we rock out with some more women's basketball. Now, here's the deal. Let's first take a look at the SEC. If y'all are interested in figuring out what are the games that are happening today and what times are those games happening, well, here is the schedule. All right, here's the schedule for today. We have Vandy versus South Carolina. That game is happening at 11 a.m. Central Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Yeah, all these times here is Central. Okay, all of these times are Central. So just so y'all know. Okay, so anyway, Vandy versus South Carolina at 11. Can Vandy pull off the upset? I mean, it's gonna be hard, but hey, anything can happen. Anybody can get got. We also have Oklahoma versus Kentucky. That game is happening at 1:30 p.m. Central Time, of course. The first game is on ESPN. Second game is on ESPN. Third game is on the SEC Network as we see Ole Miss take on Texas. Guys, I'm actually kind of bummed about the fact that this game is not on. This game is on the SEC Network instead of on ESPN or ESPN2. Like I'm kind of bummed about that. But that's gonna be a fun game to watch because here's the deal: Ole Miss can absolutely get Texas. Okay? Will they? I don't know. But I'm of the belief that Ole Miss can take down any team in the SEC because of the way that when they're locked in on defense, the way they play. Will they? I don't know. Can they? Absolutely. Okay, and we also have Florida versus LSU. That game is also on the SEC Network at 7:30. Here's the deal with that game. Because of Florida taking down Bama the way they did, honestly, I'm looking like maybe they also could take down LSU. Is Liv McGill going to have another crazy historic game? If she does, I mean, remember, Flau'jae Johnson's not playing in the SEC tournament, so she could be all set to go for the NCAA tournament. Just saying, if you would have asked me yesterday morning if Florida could beat LSU, I would say no way. But with the way that Florida played yesterday, I don't know. If Liv McGill goes off, hey, who knows? Who knows what could happen? Who knows? All I know is I'm here for it all. Hey, y'all know I love me some upsets. Okay, let's look at the Big Ten. Here's the Big Ten games happening today. We got Indiana versus USC on the Big Ten Network. We have, and that game is at 11 a.m. We have Michigan versus Maryland at 1:30 p.m. Also on the Big Ten Network. We have Nebraska versus UCLA at 5:30 on the Big Ten Network. Again, all these times are Central. And we have Iowa versus Ohio State at 8 p.m. I just hate the fact that these Iowa games are so late. I wish they were earlier. But anyway, do I see an upset between Indiana and USC? No, but who knows? Who knows? Michigan versus Maryland. I don't know about this one. Maryland should win. However, I could see Michigan getting the upset in this one. Nebraska versus UCLA. I think UCLA has it. Iowa versus Ohio State. I don't know. Because I'm going to tell you this. Ever since, I may make a separate video about this. Ever since Iowa had that jersey retirement day for Caitlin Clark, it was the day that they played against USC and ended up beating USC. Ever since that game, I feel like I've seen a different Iowa team. I feel like I've seen a more dynamic Iowa team who just maybe, and it could just be that Jan Jensen just needed a little bit more time to really hone in on her groove. But I feel like ever since that USC game, anything is possible for Iowa. Literally anything is possible. So I don't know. Should Ohio State win? Absolutely. Will they? I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't. I'll tell you that. In the ACC, we got North Carolina, who narrowly beat Boston College. Like yesterday, it was a very, very close game. between North Carolina uh, and Boston College. But today they play Florida State on at 10 o'clock on ESPN2. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Florida State wins. We'll see though. We'll see because to me, North Carolina should have easily won yesterday, but they didn't. So like maybe blood is in the water. Who knows? Georgia Tech versus NC State. I think NC State has that pretty easily. Cal versus Notre Dame. Notre Dame has that. Louisville versus Duke. I don't know. This one is a toss-up. Complete toss-up. I have no idea who's going to win this game. I think both of these teams are very, very evenly matched. And I don't know. But yeah, that's your look at some of the games that are happening today. But yeah, that's how we are rocking out. Hope y'all are having a good day for the Big 12. We got K-State versus West Virginia, Colorado versus TCU, Iowa State versus Baylor, and Texas Tech versus Oklahoma State. The matchups I'm actually really watching is actually the game that's going to be on ESPN2, which is Oklahoma State versus Texas Tech. I just love watching the Oklahoma State Cowgirls play. Like I just think they're a fun team. I just do. And I just always like to watch them. Of course, I'll watch the other games, but like that's one game that like it's on ESPN Plus, but like also y'all should also watch that game as well. All right. Anyway, that is your massive recap of everything you needed to know about yesterday, and a quick look at what's happening today. Now, guys, do you all like this? Like, is this a cool thing to do? I'm asking because I made the video yesterday getting y'all feedback, and I got a lot of feedback, and it seems like there are a good amount of y'all who are saying that y'all don't like, y'all do not like y'all are not as big of a fans of recaps unless something game recaps unless something special has happened, unless something out of the ordinary has happened. And some of y'all are saying like we actually don't mind you just talking and we don't need these fully edited stuff. And so this was my attempt to try to be responsive to what you all are talking about, because I felt like this was a good merging of the middle where you all are interested in like stuff that is recaps that are like bigger deals, and I felt like some of the highlights, some of the stuff I highlighted here were bigger deals, and it was quicker because I can have the opportunity to just talk on the fly. I didn't have to edit it and put a whole bunch of highlights to supplement what I'm saying and whatnot. I could just talk to camera, show y'all some graphics here and there, and make it work. What do y'all think? Like, this is a community. We are very responsive here. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think? Is this style a good style? Would you like some more changes? Because honestly, guys, I can do this every day. I could do a live stream right in the morning with all of my thoughts. And that's way faster for me than writing scripts, because I can just because I watch the games. And so I have an idea of like what I saw and what I want to talk about. But if I'm live, I don't have to like write it out. I could just, look at the score and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember what happened here. This, so let me know. Let me know. I may end up putting a poll out. I had like 300 comments on yesterday's video with like suggestions, and thank you so much for your awesome suggestions. So I'm still trying to go through them all, but I feel like I've gotten some good categories of stuff, and I'm going to do a poll likely on the chat in the communities tab later. But anyway, I have to get to work, so I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Have a great rest of y'all day. Happy Friday, y'all. We have made it to another awesome end of the week. Hopefully you all have a fantastic rest of your day. Have a fantastic weekend. I will be talking to y'all probably not later today, but I will be back here same time tomorrow morning for another live stream as we recap tonight's games. Okay, so I'll be back. hopefully y'all are able to join me tomorrow, same time, same place, as we talk about today's games. Let's see. Neek says, I'm showing up because the content is legit. I don't care about the format or style because the information you share is so valuable and what I want to hear. Well, I appreciate you, Neek. I appreciate you. I really do. Thank you. Sean says, if you're looking for more views, you need more controversy. Sad to say. That is very sad to say. And you're right. Ultimately, I don't want to do that. Like, this is not, like, here's the deal. I feel like people, like, controversy sells on YouTube. It does. Absolutely sells. And it can make people a lot of money, right? However, my goal on this channel is to grow the game of basketball and to grow the knowledge of women's basketball fans. And while sometimes I may talk about some controversial stuff, like, if controversy, ultimately, if that's all you do, that's tearing down the game. That's not building it up. My goal is to build up the game, is to, like, really just showcase my love for it, right? And share it with everybody else and inform you all and whatnot. And so I want your feedback in terms of, like, what you all are interested in, because I'm looking to inform you. I'm looking to continue to make women's basketball more appealing, continue to make it more interesting, continue to build the game, grow the game, not through controversy, but through awesome stuff, through awesome plays, through player profiles, through historical stuff. So, like, let me know of that stuff, what y'all are interested in. Because I'm, again, if I was here for clicks and views, I literally would make a Caitlin Clark video every single day. Right? I could do that. I can make the anti Caitlin videos. I can make the anti Cheryl Swoops videos. I can make the anti Angel Reese videos and get a lot of views. A lot. I know how to do it. However, I don't believe that's helpful. I don't believe that's productive. I actually believe that people don't really care about the WNBA. They don't really care about these players, which is why they say and do the things that they do, because ultimately they're selfish. They only think about themselves. They only think about the money that they're trying to make. And so who cares if they are tarnishing someone's reputation, misinterpreting things that people said and making it into something that it's not. Like, they don't care about that because, of course, they're into money. And I get it, but at the same time, like, my goal is to grow the game, not necessarily to make money. I would love to make money doing this. I would love to. If it doesn't happen, that's fine. Ultimately, I'm here for impact. So that's why I ask you all what you all are interested in. That's why I ask, not necessarily to, like, go up in, like, views like crazy or like whatever, but to actually be helpful. And to actually grow the game. Am I perfect? No, dog. I suck. Like, I really do. Like, I got a ton of flaws, and y'all can point them out. I'm sure y'all can in the chat. But yeah. Anyway, this is the thing about lives. I always go on rants. Always go on rants. Always. And I don't know why I do. I just do it all the time. So anyway, y'all have a good day. I gotta go to work. All right, see y'all the next one. Bye-bye.